And we're back with Tracy Drayton, our cancer survivor. And yeah, so this is the second half of Simply Jewel, a typical podcast. Like to welcome Tracy Drayton to Simply Jewel, a typical podcast. So yeah, we are getting rain here in Colorado, so we may have some technical difficulties. But yeah, we just want to get to the second part and talk about if you think is there anything that you want to bring to the attention of the listeners, and is there anything that we missed? Like we're just shooting the breeze. So go ahead, Tracy. What do you think?
We were just pretty much recapping for those that may have missed the first half in regards to knowing about the breast cancer, how was my treatment, but all in all, having a great support system, I would say, is the biggest takeaway. If you're able to have a support system, your support system doesn't have to be a large group of people. It can just be maybe one or two, whoever you may choose that to be, a family member, a friend, a co-worker, whoever you may want to confide in or can confide in. And the emotional side of having breast cancer is different for everyone, but there may be some effects of emotional, the physical, of course, just depending. But all in all, how do you go through breast cancer? You are a breast cancer survivor, but how do you survive as far as being a breast cancer survivor? And those are just some takeaways as far as being able to confide in someone, also accepting that you have the breast cancer. That's really part one of it. And that's really starting your journey through becoming a breast cancer survivor, is being able to accept that you do have the breast cancer. And everyone is different on different levels of different understanding. And so you may ask, well, how do I accept if I have breast cancer? Again, having that confidentiality and someone that you believe in. That would be your support system, and being able to converse and be educated. But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, that's a big one. How do you survive it? There's so many people out here uh, that are experiencing breast cancer, and to just to grasp the fact that they have it for one. Like, is there anything different? Did you feel different? How was it knowing that you had breast cancer, but was there a different feeling? I guess I'm just trying
For
to
me,
understand.
the physical aspect of feeling different, not per se, because you may not even feel anything. You may have a lump that may be your first indicator, but in order to possibly feel that lump, you're doing your breast exams. And sometimes just pushing up against something, or you're doing your daily regimen, things of that nature. But for my story, I didn't feel different. It was just a matter of something being there that I know it wasn't there before.
Okay.
So for every woman, it may be a different story. And that's why it's really expressed to do your physical exam, to do your breast exams on a monthly basis because of changes. But feeling differently, being differently, no.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big question because a lot of, and I've never had, had never had cancer, but I did have other issues, female issues where I had to have my cervix frozen and I had to have a partial hysterectomy. But I didn't feel it. And the doctor was like, "You didn't feel that?" And I'm like, "No," but it was the size of like a basketball, you know,
Right,
and I never
right.
felt it.
And
Yeah.
it's the timing aspect of it as well. How often are breast exams done? Self breast exams done? Are you getting your mammogram done every year? And so it's all in timing. And then also, if it's a lump or not, that might be too small for anyone to feel. As you continue to do your breast exams, then perhaps it may reveal itself as far as being able to be felt by doing certain things, by doing your exercises. And so the other educational piece of it is that if you have breast um, cancer that may fall in someone's family that's very prominent, then they may want to do their exams more often than once a month, or
So wait a minute.
they may have to get
Excuse
their
me.
mammograms more than once a year if it's
Yeah, because that's what
it's
I
very
was gonna
prominent
say.
in their family, and not necessarily having to wait until they're at age 40. They may have to get it done younger than at age 40, again because of their family history. A lot of that goes into play, and again, everyone is different.
Yeah, because you mentioned every year. I thought, well, I know that some only get it like every other year, like if there's calcium deposits. And that's a big scare because they don't know if these calcium deposits are uh, just that, or if it's really a lump. So some people have to get the a biopsy to see if it's
Mhm.
cancerous or not. So yeah, and then showing people how to um, do breast exams. I was thinking about that. Like now we're in the midst of pandemics. I don't even know if people are able to if anybody is doing that on these platforms and showing people, because for a while I think we're going to be doing a lot of social media platforms, and there's still a need of awareness. There's still a need to show people how the process, because a lot of people don't want to learn on their own. You know, some people are visual, some people are audio, and they can hear and you can direct them, but some people you know that, and it's real out there because you'd be surprised where some people are like, well, do you have a, a pamphlet? And there used to be pamphlets circulating around, but I don't know if there is anymore, um, due to
Yes,
these
they're
times.
yes, very prominent before the COVID and everything. One of the organizations, Susan G. Komen, actually, they had provided the correct way of doing your self exams called shower cards. And it would have examples on there how women would examine themselves, whether they were in a shower, underneath their armpit, underneath their breast, the base of both breasts, and doing that and then exchanging your hand to the other side. You can also do it lying down on your back. You can also do it lying down on your side or either sitting up. But once you become so used to doing that, you're so natural, you'll just go ahead and do yourself breast
Right.
exam, basically. But yes, all of that information, and it's also, I believe, still located on the website, and it may even be on other websites as well. American Cancer
Yeah.
Society also.
I know I used to help uh, Lord, I think we are having the rain is starting to mess us up. But I think that when I used to volunteer at Metro, I volunteered on the big mobile. It was almost, I don't even know how long or how wide, and we used to pass out these pamphlets. But of course, that's been a long time. And now people know how to use Google, and I'm sure somebody is demonstrating. But yeah, it's very important. And taking some people do it when they are in the shower. I guess they find that the to glide the hands with soap and in the shower is a good time to uh, check. But I'm just glad that more awareness is out here and more people are um, not getting used to the way we're doing things right now, but at least we know that there are platforms and ways to connect with people,
Oh,
which is,
definitely.
yeah.
Yes, it's a lot of great resources though out in our websites and organizations that
Yeah,
provide so much information. And
that's
actually,
true.
on some of them, they will even provide like the sizes of a ball, if you would take, or a marble, just to give an indication, to the community what that size is meant,
Hmm.
basically, and
Well,
what
right.
that size means. Yeah, and then that all also depends upon what type of exam, what type of uh, that person will go through, that woman will go through, as far as if she needs to have chemotherapy. Not every woman has to have chemotherapy. Again, it just all depends.
Exactly. That's true. Well, I'm glad to know that we do have another option that using other devices and to shrink cancer cells. So I'm hoping that we're getting closer. I'm certainly doing my part to help um, get closer um, to finding a way to shrink cancer cells. Now, lastly, Tracy, I know I keep thinking of stuff, but I was just thinking, so what are you doing now? What goals do you have? Where do you see yourself in a certain um, platform in the next let's say the next 5 years? What goals do you have to come?
Well, my goal is to actually have a nonprofit, 501c3, and that profit would be catered in service to women who have breast cancer or gone through breast cancer, more or less being a liaison and an advocate for women, for resources, for support, that support element. Again, in our first part, we talked about the question period, where women can go, where can they find the resources, who can they talk to. And so I would be that person, liaison, being able to support and service women according to their needs and their wants. Also, I would like to also be affiliated with the financial aspect, being able to provide scholarships and grants to women in order to get their mammographies, or at least being able to help in that aspect. And also, we're talking about transportation, women going to the doctors, women going to get their medicines. And so I'm looking at that support element and service as well. And being able to go into the community to women, realizing that everyone is not able to just go out, but we have to meet people where they are in their crossroads, and going into the community and providing that education, the education and training. What is the disparity? Why do we have a disparity? And so that is a big thing to really work on, a big passion to work on a disparity, to alleviate disparity, not realizing that white women get breast cancer more than black women, but more black women die from breast cancer. And why is that? And so we have a disparity that lies in our communities, because each
Right.
community is not providing the same resources and the same education and the same training to women. Because of maybe having their hands tied or because of funding or cost that may be eliminated in the community as well. And so there's so much work to do, but that is what I want to do. I want to really be able to service the women in our community, but we're also talking about women in our churches being able to network and bring women together in the same aspect because we're all working towards the same goal and having
Right.
all organizations working together and supporting each other and one another as well.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that, and which is very important, and we have to keep using our voices to uh, bring awareness because it is a big factor, and whether people realize it or not, it's still that there's some validity to all walks of all angles of what you just mentioned, and that's why I literally. Started getting involved on so many different levels. So I'm always doing something, always doing some research. So, we just have to band together and bring awareness, which is most important. Let's see.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, what else you got going on, and what you been snacking on?
What have I been snacking on?
What have you been
You
snacking
know,
on? I'm ready.
it's always thinking of something. It's always turning, how can something be done better? But this is really a passion of mine. And as a breast cancer survivor, as I mentioned in the first part, I was reluctant to even reveal that I had breast cancer and going through breast cancer treatment. And that's just a beginning stage, for me and how I was able to get with other groups and get with other women. But it's baby steps because in the beginning you I didn't have that feeling of wanting to provide that information to people. Well, how's it going to be thought of? What does that mean? And so I wasn't able to explain myself in regards to what breast cancer is. And so, how can I be conversational with somebody else to tell them about breast cancer? And so, I found it to be important to me to learn as much as I possibly could, and basically just evolving myself as far as volunteering for breast cancer organizations. As many of you have probably are familiar with Race for the Cure or More Than Pink Walk, the American Cancer Society, they also have their walk now. We all do virtual walks. It still can be done. We still are raising funds. We're just doing it virtual. But one day, I'm sure we'll all come back and we'll be able to walk I-25 and have that More Than Pink Walk, 3K or 5K. And so, but I just wanted to make sure that the importance is I was reluctant in the very beginning, and sometimes we are because we don't want to share our story. But it really is
Right.
important to share our story so that other women may know. The next person that you tell is going to help someone else. And that's where the advocacy has come in. And I found that being an advocate is really important. Providing your voice, giving your voice. And it's important because women that are not able to give their voice, we are the voice for them. And so that
Yes.
mission is important to continue on for others.
Right. Now, did I invite you to Simply Jewel's 5K? We haven't set a date yet, but I think I have connected with several different people statewide. Actually, I think I got in touch with three or four different people. Did I invite you to to get involved with the 5K that we'll be doing on behalf of Orally Cancer Research Foundation?
No, you
We're doing
haven't.
Yeah, we're doing a 5K. So, what I'm trying to do is set the date for, I believe, June or July. And if that doesn't work, then October, November will be a good date because we're going to do a 5K. I'm trying to get a few. There's another cancer foundation in Indianapolis, people in Illinois, Peoria, LA. And I believe there's one other state. I'm not for sure who's gonna join in, but that'll be my last little event, helping to raise the money. And I just want to invite you to that because, like I said, it's a 5K. We're trying to get close to assisting. Um, I guess that's what I should be doing. I didn't get permission, so I'll have to let them know. But that is something that we're going to be working on to speak about that today. But I will be doing other lives, and so stay tuned. But that is my last fundraiser. Excuse me, my last. Oh no.
Return.
Yes, it just turned technical difficulties. Hold on, people.
That
Okay.
happens. That
Yeah,
happens.
I don't know what that's all about, but and it could be because we do have the rain here. But thanks for that, because I don't want to be red. I mean, I am. I do have red in my blood, so
She's
hey,
Jewel.
I'm Jewel. Native American is in this blood as well, and I'm okay with that. But I don't want to be like that. What the button that we had. But yeah, so
This
yeah, I
is
want to
really good, though. Yeah. This platform is good, informing our community, informing those that may have questions.
yes,
And
yes,
so, as much as possible, we can provide information and educate our community.
okay. And I'm going to invite you to come back. It's important to have you come back as often as you like. So yeah, we're getting a lot of interference here.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, because you're
that's the
turning
weirdest
in.
thing. Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I'm not sure what's going on, but
So,
I'm okay with that.
okay, if there's a question that the community may have, are they able to ask you a question or leave a question?
Absolutely. They can call simplyjewel.com. They can email me. There's several different platforms you can ask questions on. Um, there's also, when you go to simplyjewel.com, um, you can click on what am I trying to say? You can click on uh, oh, this is annoying. Hold on, people. Tracy, I may have to, whoa, that's scary. I was going to say, I may have to go to my avatar because it is now starting to do some crazy things. Okay,
Okay, you're good.
okay. Well, like I say, I'm not worried about the technical difficulties. Everybody's having them one way or another, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, using the platforms, you can go to simplyjewel.com. You can click on if you need any assistance helping you to make healthy choices, alternative routes. Some people have had a big scare and they want to make healthy choices, I can help with that as well. And then we also are going to be, oh, I don't know if I'll be able to do it on this video or on this broadcast, but if you go to Instagram, I now have created three compacts, one for those who love to wear color makeup, and one that is natural at 16 colors or 12 colors. And then I also have one that is a compact with a highlighter, a blush, and six eyeshadows. It is mineral makeup, all clean makeup. safe enough for cancer survivors. So I'm going to be also putting my body butters on the website. I'm going to be um, donating a portion of the sales to Orally Cancer Research Foundation, so that we can all come together for the cause. And so that's what's new and exciting. All of this is all because we must start doing something. We must get involved. You know, there's so many different diseases and diagnoses that have no uh, result, no solution. But yet we're out here promoting, and I think this is a year to see change, and that's why I'm doing as much as I can to help those who fail to thrive, no matter what it is. Because, like you said, we have to get together and start communicating. Communicating is important. Being able to share is important. And that's what Simply Jewel is all about. Although I consolidate cosmetology, nursing, and science, that's very broad. So I too am one of those resource places where people can come and get the support they need. And if I don't know, there's someone that I can refer them to. So yeah, you know, we are getting bigger and bigger. My face and platform is getting bigger. Seems like you're getting going farther and farther back. But yeah, let's just do it. Let's keep doing as much as we can. If there's something you want to talk about, give me a holler, and we can make it happen. Let's get it out there. Plant a seed, cultivate, and that's how we can reach people.
I would say that for young women, it's important for them to know their family history as well, so
Yes,
that they are in preparation as far as getting mammograms when they need to get mammograms and so forth. But all in all, it's important for all of us to know our family history.
absolutely. And I say that too. Start out knowing your blood type. It's time to start learning about your body. It's time to figure out what are the things that work best for you. Because everybody's body chemistry is different. And so to me, that's why we have all these different options. So it's wise to start making healthy choices and finding out your family history so that you can be your best self. And that's what Simply Jewel assists with as well. So the only way to be your best self is to understand your body, um, get those, learn preventative ways to assist yourself. And one thing I started noticing is that people listen to what other people are saying or doing, but yet everybody's body chemistry is different. So you've got to start taking time to understand yourself, little at a time. And if you have to get a baseline, at least you know where you were maybe a year ago, and then every year, uh, figure out which way works best for you. But it is important and it is necessary.
And actually, each person is their own advocate. You
But
have
a
to.
lot of people now, Tracy, a lot of people don't know how to be an advocate for themselves. And
Mhm.
so yeah, but you're right. That's what it should be. But a lot of people don't have the questions, they don't understand it, and it's okay. But people like us that can help support, that's what we need to start doing. It's important.
And
Okay.
so, with that question that you're saying, is that people may not know how to be their own advocate. It's not saying that you have to be very knowledgeable about anything. It's just knowing that when you know something is different, or you do
Right.
have a question pertaining to something, that question can be asked. That's the first step right there. Is the first question that can be asked, or how can I get something done better, or how can I do something better? For instance, if you just want to start in your own community, if you know one person or two people that
Right.
women that have breast cancer, ask them questions. How did they find out about their breast cancer? What is their follow up? What treatments are they doing? And so it's more or less just trying to get more educated and get information. But sure, I believe everyone can be their own advocate and also advocates in their community. And that's really the start of eliminating the disparity.
Yeah, and it's important. It's really important to uh, ask questions. Nowadays, no question is stupid, and that's what I tell people. No one certain question is stupid. We must learn how to communicate. We must ask questions, or like you say, get around people and have conversations. And as you learn as much as you can, you'll start to know how to form the questions to ask. But again, one of the services that I provide is going to the doctors with people and also having a conversation with them and or their doctor. Of course, they have to give permission to do so. But yeah, you got to utilize as much as you can and what you can in order to be your best self, because some people have they've just been living, they have no way of knowing what questions to ask. So it's important to ask questions. And like I said, I'm always available to listen to people, to talk to people, uh, give them an opportunity to ask a question, help them to figure out what they need to say to their doctors to get the to get the right answer. Because some people are just going, they're trusting their doctor, but there's alternatives, and there are other questions that need to be uh, asked so that they can understand how to care for themselves. You'd be surprised how many people um, don't know how to care for themselves after getting discharged from the hospital. And it can be something simple, but because of the state of mind that they're in, they didn't even think to ask that question or know
Mhm.
how to get through that certain time in their life. Yeah,
And maybe that
it's
would be a future platform in providing what that would look like as far as questions that
say that.
people can ask their doctor even after maybe their appointments.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Trying to be prepared for the appointment, asking those questions also.
Right, absolutely. I've gone to the doctors with several people, and you're introduced to the doctor, and that's what it's all about. Coming together, brainstorming, and
Mhm.
finding. Because at the end of the day, we want the best for the client, and
Right,
so yeah, it's important, and people are starting to do that now because of COVID, you can't get to the doctors. You're having virtual meetings with your doctor. So people like me are out here being able to answer the questions, because it's not like you can go to the doctor or call the doctor and get an immediate response. Whereas I can help get them in a sweet place until they're able to see their doctor.
right. As a past patient navigator, and
Absolutely.
I know there is training for those that have an interest in becoming a patient navigator, as you had mentioned, and supporting and working with the patient, with the doctor,
Yeah.
vice versa.
Right. And there's people out there that are doing it, but one thing I will say, sometimes that loving touch is something you cannot learn from a book or, get a degree to do. It's innate. Either you have that compassion for people or you don't. But I don't want the world to get back to what we were used to, because that's how, to me, I feel like that's how we got to this place where we're not listening to people. We're not taking the time to listen. And, but yet we're quick to diagnose. And now, with all this going on, we have that. I feel like that's what it's all about. Take the time to listen to people, take the time to hear. I think you mentioned that earlier. Listen to what they're saying. And
Mhm.
it's just like, remember when we were growing up and the neighbor next door or the person down the street, you could always go and talk to your neighbor, and then they would tell your mom, or, you know, or the
Yeah,
whole,
my mother's in the neighborhood,
right, the
watching
whole
out
neighbor,
for everybody. All the kids played at each other's homes.
right,
Outside, we played from sun up to sundown, and our
right,
mothers would be calling out the door. It's time to come home when the lights, come on and everything. You're still asking, can you stay out and play? And
exactly,
just running home and running home. But I mean, that was the good times. We did
right.
our own games. We had fun. But I mean, it was just different times.
Yeah,
Uh,
different times, but I think we need to get back to basics.
mhm.
I
Family,
think,
yeah,
yeah, and to me, I don't care what anybody says. I think that's what this time is all about, getting back to basics and putting some of that good old fashioned love back into the equation. Because you know me, like I say, cosmetology is like doing hair. You have to know how to um, create, and you have to know how to nurture that hair. Nursing, I'm not the one to let the patient stay in the bed. I'm one to say, let's get up, let's sit by the sun. So just like back in the old days, they knew what we needed to make us feel better. And that's what I think is missing out of this whole equation in 2021. You all right over there?
just a tickle. I have no water. Thank you.
Okay, good. But yeah, it's time to get back to basics. It's time to implement some of those good old fashioned remedies and good old fashioned love
I
back
think
into,
it's
yeah,
like you said, it's reteaching us, going back to the basics, having
exactly,
the time and being able to spend time, with self and to reflect and uh, things of that nature. Just taking time for yourself, basically,
right.
not the hustle and bustle, because we
That's
were
right.
forced, basically, into that equation. And
Right.
so now that we're able to, do this in a harmonious way, not that we weren't before, but it's that reflection, on self. And I think, as you were saying, going back to the basics, people have realized that opening up their own business is maybe something that they've always wanted to do, for a
Yes.
long time. But
For a
just,
long time.
yeah, for a long time. And then just taking that step, taking that leap of step and saying, I'm going to go ahead and do it,
That's
pressing
right.
forward, being persistent, being determined, not taking, no for answer, but just completing your goals.
Yeah. And the energy is different. You
The
know,
energy is much different. Yes.
That's right. And
Mhm.
people are starting to, in some areas, speak up and say, no, I don't think I want to do that anymore. So there's a sense of fear because, businesses are closing. And even for me, it's like, it's funny because I've done the industry, like, cosmetology, nursing, sold and made money for millions of people, but I'm still here. So I believe I was born for a time such as this, and I think all the things that I have experienced, it's all coming into fruition. It's like everything is just happening the way it's supposed to. So yeah, if we get back to basics, put that love back into the equation, into the universe, into our communities, and then some of the seniors. And I'm becoming a senior now myself, where I'm able to give some good advice and add that into the equation. So yeah, it's much needed because for a couple of several years now, we've lost our way. We've lost that compassion, and it's necessary. So I'm excited about what's coming. I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
Well, thank you, Tracy. I know that we've done a couple of these talks, and I could go on and on and
Oh,
on.
it's
And
been a pleasure. It's been fun.
yeah,
It's always good to educate the community, or at least give some words of wisdom.
exactly. And once I figure out about this whole situation, as far as the the social devices and all of that, I'm gonna try and invite a few more people on, and maybe on a certain day we can all come together and talk about just life. Because at this time, I think that was another thing I wanted to talk about. Talk about the good old times and what people used to do back then, and all the some of the elders that we've known and have gone on to glory or in their 90s and 100. And I think I met somebody just recently, 113, or lived to be 113. So some people, I like those stories, and people can apply it to their life and give them hope and give them another sense of understanding, and maybe to help them persevere and press forward. And that's what I think those times were all about. They gave you the courage to just move forward and gain some strength so that you can make a difference. And it's necessary. I think it's necessary during these times. So I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you
And
so much for having me. Yes.
yeah, and Tracy, don't be a stranger. Uh, I did my lift. We've gotta come together and help people out. And I please call me if you need any assistance or anything, any clarification. I'm always willing to help.
Same here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So, thanks everybody. You've been listening to Simply Jewel podcast, and we appreciate you. Hopefully, you'll come on. Let us know. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Go to
Send
Simply
those
Jewel.
questions in.
That's right. And you can also go to simplyjewel.com. You see Simply Jewel everywhere. So feel free to get in touch with me. I am only a phone call away. Until next we wrap. Peace and blessings.
Blessings.